Previously on the Advent of Cyber. After investigating the web camera implant through hardware and firmware reverse engineering, you are tasked with identifying and exploiting any known vulnerabilities in the web camera. Alf McSkitty is confident you won't be able to compromise the web camera as it seems to be up to date, but we will investigate if off-the-shelf exploits are even needed to take control of the workshop. So what I've done is I've spun up the Docker container, then I've used the Mosquito Publish tool to publish to the host, but we're going to localhost because why not? Now that should open up and show us the stream. Hello world and welcome to Hacks. We are looking at day 22 of TryHackMe's Advent of Cyber. The topic of this room is attack surface reduction. Threats are failing all around me. Bandit Yeti, not having fun. 'Tis the season for patching and protecting. Attack surface reduction. So you can probably hear that my chest is still full of cold, but I don't care, let's get on and do it. We're near to the end, it's day 22, we've not got long left. So without further ado, I bring to you the story. McSkitty wants to improve the security posture of Santa's network by learning from the recent attempts to disrupt Christmas. As a first step, she plans to implement a low-effort, high-value changes that will improve the security posture significantly. And the learning objectives of this room are to help Alf McSkitty with her improvements. We will learn some concepts and evaluate some steps to take. These will include understanding what an attack vector is, understanding the concept of an attack surface, some practical examples of attack surface reduction techniques that McSkitty can utilize to strengthen Santa's network. Attack vectors. So what is an attack vector? An attack vector is a technique, tool or method used to attack a computer system or network. If we mapped attack vectors to the physical world, they could be things like weapons, swords, arrows, hammers. A non-exhaustive list of examples for cybersecurity attack vectors include phishing emails, deceptive emails that are often impersonating someone and asking a victim to perform an action that they don't otherwise intend. Denial of service. A distributed denial of a service attack. It essentially denies the service to legitimate users. It takes things offline so regular people can't access them. Web drive-by attacks. Flaws in web browsers that compromise the security of the victim merely by visiting the website. Scary one. Unpatched vulnerability exploitation. A flaw in an internet-facing infrastructure such as a web server or network interface that is exploited to take control of the infrastructure. Attack surface. The attack surface is the surface area of the victim of an attack that can be impacted by an attack vector and cause damage. Taking forward our example of the physical world, the attack surface will include the unarmored body of a soldier, which an attack of a sword, arrow or hammer could damage. In cybersecurity, the attack surface will generally contain the following: an email server used for sending or receiving emails, an internet-facing web server that serves a website to visitors, end-user machines that people can use to connect to the network. Humans can also be manipulated and tricked into giving control of the network to an attacker through social engineering. Attack surface reduction. As we might notice, the attack surface cannot be eliminated short of running away from the battlefield. It can only be reduced. The Greek phalanx is an excellent example of attack surface reduction, as seen in this picture. In the picture, the front of the defending army is covered by shields, whereas the walls of the pass cover the sides, leaving no room for an attacker to inflict damage on the defenders without running into their defenses. This is how the Spartan army held back a much larger Persian army for several days in the battlefield. However, this attack surface reduction works for the weapons of that time. This technique will not impact the attack surface against modern weapons. In cybersecurity, the most secure computer is one that is shut down and has its cables removed. However, this is not feasible for running critical operations dependent on computers. Therefore, cybersecurity leaders aim to keep the operations running with the lowest possible attack surface. And we've got some examples of attack surface reduction. Close the ranks. Santa's website was defaced earlier. When investigating that attack, McSkitty found that an SSH port was open on the server hosting the website. This led to an attacker using that port to gain entry. McSkitty closed the port. Put up the shields. Although the SSH port was protected by a password, the password was not strong enough to resist a brute force attempt. McSkitty implemented a stronger password policy to make brute forcing more difficult. Moreover, a timeout would lock a user out for 5 incorrect password attempts, making brute force attacks more expensive and less feasible. Control the flow of information. McSkitty was informed by her team about the GitHub repository that contained sensitive information, including some credentials. This information could be an attack vector to Santa's infrastructure. This information was made private to block this attack vector. Moreover, the best practices were established to ensure credentials and other sensitive information were not committed to GitHub repositories. Beware of deception. Another attack vector used to intrude into Santa's network was phishing emails. McSkitty identified that no phishing protection was enabled, which led to all such emails landing in the inboxes of Santa's employees. McSkitty has now enabled phishing protection on Santa's email server to filter out spoofed and phishing emails. All emails identified as phishing or phishing or spoofed were dropped and didn't reach the inbox of Santa's employees. Prepare for countering human error. The phishing email that targeted Santa's employees contained a document containing malicious macros. To mitigate the risk of malicious macro-based document compromising Santa's infrastructure, McSkitty disabled macros on end-user machines used by Santa's employees to avoid malicious macro-based attacks. I'll tell you what, try and say malicious macro-based attacks and McSkitty 3 times really fast. Strengthen every soldier. McSkitty wanted the attack surface reduced from every endpoint's point of view. So far, she had taken steps to strengthen the network as a whole. For strengthening each endpoint, she took help from Microsoft's attack surface reduction rules. Though these rules were built into Microsoft Defender for Endpoint product, she took help from these rules and created a similar set of rules for her own EDR platform. Make the defense invulnerable. To further strengthen the infrastructure, McSkitty carried out a vulnerability scan highlighting some vulnerabilities in the internet-facing infrastructure. McSkitty patched these vulnerabilities found on Santa's internet-facing infrastructure to avoid exploitation. After implementing these steps, McSkitty was a little relieved. However, she understood that though her attack surface was reduced, she still needed to be vigilant to avoid any incidents. Come back tomorrow to see what other steps McSkitty takes to strengthen her defences. See ya! And then we got a box to spin up and some questions to answer. Oh geez, it looks like the Bandit Yeti is shooting Alf McSkitty with a bow and arrow to the face. Attack surface reduction. It is time to save Alf McSkitty from the Bandit Yeti. Correct answers were add shields to protect against the Bandit Yeti attacks, add 6 shields to protect McSkitty fully, or you can save. Only you can save her now. Match the attack vector with the relevant attack surface reduction by moving the attack surface reduction action to the correct row, height and column. Jeez, I cannot speak today. Right, let's start from here. Sensitive data from the file sharing site was removed to avoid the Bandit Yeti taking advantage of that data. Some sensitive data related to Santa's servers found on the sharing website, a document, malicious files open. Bandit Yeti has identified. I think that's going to be that one, right? Sweet. Unnecessary ports are closed to avoid attack attempts. And that one is Bandit Yeti has identified an open port on the SSH server. So let's throw that in the top one. Come on, up you go. Strong password policy is enabled to enforce brute force attacks. Password brute forcing. Yay. Security policies are implemented to block macros on Santa's network. A document file with malicious macros is opened by the user. Okay, so that's that one, isn't it? App blocker is deployed into a network-wide block execution of unknown whitelisted applications. Yeah, so that's the bottom one. And that's that one. And that's that one. And there you can see McSkitty is all shielded up. And we can click next. And we got the flag, THM attack surface reduced. Can I actually paste that in or do I need to type it? There you go, click submit. Hooray! While attack surface reduction helps, there is always a danger of a successful attack. We are done. Fantastic. That's it for today. Hope you liked it. I liked that this is a much more sort of less technical room. It was much more enjoyable, you know. I had a busy day yesterday, busy day today. It's nice to have something a bit chill to do. Anyway, if you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. Hope it helped you. Like and subscribe. See you next time. Kind regards.